we've seen a lot of settlers, and we've seen their settlements and their homes, but we really haven't got the Palestinian perspective at all. And apparently the Palestinians are often attacked by settlers, so we've come to this town, Asira al-Qibliya, to get their perspective on things. This is the end of the road in this Palestinian town, so these houses here are the ones that are closest to the Jewish settlement up the hill, and they face the brunt of the attacks when the settlers come down throwing stones. And the owners of some of these houses are telling us that the Israeli army doesn't do anything about it.
هون كانت لك النار
Rubber bullets?
هون هي أثرت لك النار من اعتداءات المستوطنين. كان ينزلوا المستوطنين كشفوا الشبابيك القزاز. فآخر فترة يعني قبل شهرين بالضبط أجت مؤسسة فرنسية ووضعت الشبك هذا حتى إنه يحمي بيوتنا من الإحجار ومن القزاز اللي بيرموه علينا على البيت. فالوضع هسه يعني كل بشعر بأمان، بس مش الأمان الكامل، أمان شيء بسيط يعني.
He showed us videos he'd taken himself of the settler attacks, where you could see youths come down from the settlement above the village to throw stones.
بس على فلسطينيين.
The worst thing about it was that they were accompanied by the Israeli army, who were supposedly there to separate the two groups, but were in fact doing nothing to stop the settler attack.
شوف الجيش شو بيعمل لهم. طلع الجيش. الله عشان الجيش.
A few weeks after we visited Asira al-Qibliya, the settler attacks resumed. But this time, two Palestinian villagers who were throwing stones and approaching Jewish youths were shot by the settlers with live ammunition during two separate attacks. Both times, the Israeli army did nothing to restrain the settlers. Fortunately, though, both men survived.
الجيش يعني بينزل المستوطنين، الجيش بيوقف والمستوطنين بيضربوا علينا أحجار. في النهاية نطلع إحنا اللي ظالمينهم.
بيفكر إنه الصبي الصغير هذا شو مسوي له؟ ولد صغير نايم في بيته الساعة 12 وربع، شو مسوي للمستوطن هذا؟ فبيجوا يقولوا إن إحنا ناس في عصيرة إرهابيين، لا مش إحنا الإرهابيين، هم مصدر الإرهاب نفسه.
The situation was obviously very tense and very dangerous. But this wasn't the only place under a fair bit of pressure. The Migron settlement is one of the few Jewish outposts that have received clear-cut court orders to be totally dismantled. This is Migron, an illegal outpost, and Israel has ordered all of this to be demolished in a few months. So it's got a bit of a deliverance vibe going on. Not so much because there's a lot of hillbillies out here, but they're about to flood the valley. Migron has seen some of its structures knocked down by the Israeli authorities before, but this time, Israel's High Court has ordered that the entire place be destroyed because it was illegally built on Palestinian land. It's a very unusual ruling, and most Palestinians see it as a one-off rather than a reversal of settlement policy in the West Bank. I spoke to one of the residents to find out how she felt about the impending demolition. Do you sympathize with Palestinian people who also see their houses get demolished under Israeli bulldozers?
I see it from another point of view. I think it's a different story. Here, nobody killed anyone. Israel is destroying a house for Palestinians. It's not for no reason. Most of the times, it's because they did a very wrong thing, like people killing people and other things. The story here is that the families did nothing. It's not that I don't feel sorry, I do, but I more feel sorry about my own people that sits under attacks every day, and we see it all the time. So right now must be a really difficult time for the residents of Migron. That's right. Because the High Court of Israel has stated pretty finally that by August they want all of this to be demolished. Do you know what you're going to do? We believe that we won't be in the street. We work with the government and find a solution for this hard situation. It's easy to get bogged down in the legal details of the status of each individual settlement. But the important thing to remember is that while some sites face the chopping block, the total number of settlers in the West Bank has grown from just 12,000 in the early 80s
to over 300,000 today. And that figure doesn't even include a further 200,000 Israelis living in East Jerusalem, according to the activist group Peace Now. Many have begun asking themselves if it's even possible for a Palestinian state to emerge from a territory crisscrossed with Jewish settlements. A couple of miles down the road from Migron, just across a small valley, we saw a shack with a couple of teenagers poking their head out of the door to see who we were. It turned out that the shanty town of One was yet another unauthorized outpost. The place isn't marked on any map, but already it's been demolished and rebuilt a few times over. These kids were without any adult supervision. They told me they'd named the place Strength of Zion. Wow, it's really basic. I mean, there's not even a floor. It's just the grass here. You've got holes in the roof. I mean, it's rained today.
They started it now. We need to fix it up. The police came, broke down. They cut our electricity. They broke down the water. Now we need to start building. Every time they break, we build again. We're going to build and not be afraid of building again.
This has been totally incredible. This is the freshest, most radical outpost that we've visited so far. The crazy thing about it is that the more you talk to these guys, the more somebody tells you that God has given them this land, that there's no two ways around it. You kind of start to believe them and get to the point where you think a peaceful settlement is almost impossible. With so many settlements being built up on the future territory of the Palestinian state, you start to wonder if Israel is working to make the two-state solution a reality, or if it's just telling the international community what it wants to hear. The more Israelis move to the West Bank, the less viable a Palestinian state seems to be. So the real question becomes whether Palestinians will end up citizens of a greater Israel with equal rights, or if they face a permanent regime of occupation.